two-card money, okay? This is the ace of hearts. I want you to hold it like this. So loosen up so that I can get underneath it, but then tighten it up so it won't fall, okay? So basically what's the aim of this game is I'm going to like pull cards in and out, and you're going to have to guess what card you're holding on, okay? So right now, what card are you holding on? So you can take a look at it. These are hearts, right? Okay. For simplicity's sake, just use the C, okay? So what card are you holding? The C. Two did the cards. So what card are you holding right now? Hearts? So if you're holding hearts, then what card is this? Diamonds, right? So I'll show you what I'm gonna do, okay? So sometimes I might switch it like this and take it. Sometimes I won't switch it and I'll still have it, okay? So since you get the trick, I'm gonna do this really fast, okay? Without looking at the card, I want you to tell me what card you have. Ready? 3, 2, 1, go. What card do you think you have?
Diamonds.
So you think you're holding diamonds and this card is hearts, right? Yeah. Go ahead and flip your hand over.
What the?
Hey guys, so I'm going to be teaching you how to do the two-card monte. It's a pretty easy trick, but it gets great reactions because the effect is pretty cool, and a lot of people will have no idea how it's done. So the effect is that the spectator is holding on to the ace of hearts or the ace of diamonds, and then you show them that there's an ace, the other ace is somewhere along the top of the deck. As they're holding on to the card, you do some stuff to the card, and at the end of the trick, you ask them what card they think they're holding on to, and they're going to say a heart or diamond, but in reality they're holding the kings. Okay, so the way it's done is, this is the setup. So you have the two aces sandwiching the two kings, preferably red aces, and then the black kings, because those are two different suits and you get a pretty good reaction out of that. If your deck isn't already preset, so that the top card is an ace, then the two kings and an ace, then for example it's in the middle of the deck, you can go ahead by explaining, okay, so two card monte is a game where we're going to use both of the aces, the ace of hearts and the ace of diamonds, and you just go ahead and put that ace, those aces on top, and also find the two kings. But you don't want to show the spectator that you pulled out the two kings, so try and figure out a way how you can get in this position if you haven't already preset the deck. But you just explain, okay, this is a game. Here, first of all, hold out your hand like this, motion for them to pinch the card, and when they do it, just hand the top card over to them, have them hold on like this, and go like, okay, take a look at that card. And as they're taking a look at that card, go ahead and make a pinky break between the top three cards, which is going to be right underneath that ace of hearts. You can do that by spreading the cards and then bringing it back in with that break, or you can just riffle down the cards and just create that break. Or you can do, for more advanced people, you can go ahead and create a pinky count like that and then make that break. But whichever way is more comfortable, you want that pinky break underneath the top three cards. And they're holding on to this card. You tell them, okay, now hold it face down. I want you to tell me what card are you holding on to, and they'll say ace of diamonds. Then say, for simplicity's sake, go ahead and just use the suit of the card, so just diamonds. And then you ask them again, okay, so now what card are you holding? And they say diamonds. And the reason you use suits is because then the spade and the club kind of is it gets a bit bigger reaction, because those aren't the suits that they thought that you were playing around with. So they say, okay, diamonds. And then you say, okay, well, if that's diamonds, then what's this? And what you do is, with that pinky break, you do whichever triple lift you prefer. You could even do it like a push-off triple lift, but I would just say stick to just a simple flip of the cards. It's really convincing, especially you just take your thumb and just put it down a little past the center, push it a little bit, or flick your wrist down so it kind of looks like you're pushing off the cards, and just go ahead and flip the cards. And you do that to emulate how a normal person would flip over cards. They push off the top and then they flip over the cards. So with that pinky break, once again, you just go ahead and do your triple lift and then ask them, okay, then what card is this? And they'll say hearts. And just flip those 3 cards over. And now the top 2 cards are the 2 kings, and then the hearts is actually the 3rd card. But what they think is that the heart is on the top right here. So you go ahead and take this heart, and then as they're holding on to the card, you say, okay, first time I'm going to do this slowly, okay? I'm going to go ahead and switch out the cards just like this, and just flip over that card to show that you switched it. You don't want them to look at this because this is the king now. So what I do is, as soon as I switch, I just flip it right on top so that they can't flip over their card and say, okay, I switched it, right? And they say, right, and they say, okay, now this time I'm not going to switch it. See, I'm still holding on to this card. And then ask them if they're ready. Either way, you're just gonna go for it. If they say yes, just say, okay, now I'm gonna do this really fast, okay? Or if they say no, just say, okay, well, you've had your 2 warm-ups, this is the real one, okay? And then you count down from 3, 2, 1. Just push under the thumb and pull it straight out. Don't do any switching. Just make it look like, make it convincing that you're switching out the cards or not. A lot of this is in the performance, so you go ahead and do this fast movement, and in reality, they're still holding on to the king, you're still holding on to the ace, but they don't know if you switch it or not. So you do that, and as they're contemplating what card they're holding on to, you ask them, okay, now what card do you think that is, without looking at it, because you don't want them to just flip it over and say, okay, well, oh wow, it changed. You want to really ask them, okay, what card do you think that is, and if they're not giving you a straight answer, just ask them, okay, well, if you had to put money on it, what card do you think it would be, the hearts or the diamonds? And as you're saying that, you're holding on to that ace that you didn't switch out. As you're saying that, or as they're looking down at their card, go ahead and switch out the cards so that now you have the king. And it's a really simple move because the king is at the top of the stack. You just push it out a little bit, take the ace, stick it under your thumb, and just switch it really quickly. If you practice that, it should be really fluid, really easy to do. But you don't want it to like straight up in their face. You kind of just want to go, okay, now I want you, without looking down at that card, I want you to tell me what card do you think that is. And right there I already switched it, but beauty of misdirection, they don't know that I switched it, unless they're a magician themselves and they're looking really carefully at your hands, but that's usually not the case. So after you switch the cards, they're gonna say, okay, I think diamond. I think I'm holding on to diamonds or hearts. And then you just, as they're holding on the card, just go ahead and say, okay, so you think diamonds and hearts? And they say, yeah, sure. And you're like, okay, well, flip your hand over. And by then, it's the 2 kings. Since you took that king off the top, you just placed it right here. They flip it over and it's 2 kings, and that usually gets a really good reaction from a lot of people. And this is a really easy trick to do, like as a first trick, maybe for like if you're doing a performing routine, or if you want to do any street magic. This is a really simple one to do, really easy to teach too. Yeah, that's the 2-card monte. Don't bet on anything like that.